film this holiday, here are 20 things I wish I knew before I hit record. Alright, let's dive into the absolute bedrock of any successful film project, pre-production. Getting this stage right, especially during the hectic holiday season, is the difference between a cherished cinematic memory and a chaotic, stressful mess. It all begins not with a camera, but with an idea. And the first step is to distill that idea into its purest, most powerful form. Tip number 1. Start with a logline. This is the single most important sentence you will write for your entire project. Think of it as the DNA of your film. It's one sentence that sells your story, not just to an audience, but to yourself and your entire crew. It's your North Star. Let's say you're making a short holiday film. Your idea is about a family trying to have a perfect Christmas. That's a start, but it's not a logline. A logline needs 3 key ingredients: a protagonist, their goal, and the central obstacle standing in their way. So, let's build one. How about this? A tech-obsessed teenager, desperate to win a holiday video contest, must reconnect with her Luddite grandmother to uncover a secret family recipe that is the key to her film's success. See? Now we have a character, a clear goal, and a compelling obstacle that promises conflict and heart. This logline immediately answers crucial questions. Who are we casting? A teenager and a grandmother. What props do we need? A camera, baking supplies, an old recipe book. What's the emotional core? The generational gap, connection, and the meaning of tradition. If your logline isn't crystal clear, then every subsequent decision, from shot list to editing, will be muddled. If it's not clear, neither is your shoot. Once your story is solid, you have to ground it in reality. That brings us to tip number 2. Lock the schedule. This sounds simple, but it's a step where so many productions fall apart, especially in winter. The sun is not your employee, it doesn't care about your call sheet. Daylight is short. Plan golden hour like it's your most important and most fleeting piece of talent. Don't just write afternoon on your schedule. Use a sun tracking app. Know the exact minute golden hour begins and ends in your location. Schedule your most critical, emotionally resonant exterior shots for that window. Then, work backwards. What needs to be set up that magic moment? How long will it take to get the actors, camera, and lighting in place? Build in a buffer. Always build in a buffer. Your schedule should also account for company moves. That's the time it takes to pack up and move from one location to another. It always takes longer than you think. And remember, during the holidays, traffic is worse, parking is scarcer, and your cast and crew have family commitments. A locked, realistic, and shared schedule respects everyone's time and keeps morale high. It's the framework that holds your entire production together. With a schedule in hand, you know you're shooting. Now you need to master This is tip number 3. Scout twice. Once during the day, and once at night. I cannot stress this enough. A location's entire personality changes with the sun. During your day scout, you're looking for light. Where does it fall? Are there big windows for beautiful, soft, natural light? Or will you be fighting harsh, direct sunlight that creates unflattering shadows? Where will the sun be at the exact time you plan to shoot your scene? This is also your chance to find your frame, to compose your shots, and to identify any potential problems in the background that you might need to hide or remove. Then, you return at night. Your night scout is for a completely different set of challenges. The beautiful park you found during the day might be next to a busy, noisy road that's only active after 6 p.m. That charming town square could be bathed in ugly, mixed-color temperature streetlights that will give your cinematographer nightmares. You need to listen for ambient noise, the hum of a generator, a neighbor's barking dog, the flight path of a nearby airport. And on both scouts, you must check for 3 logistical lifesavers: power, noise, and parking. Is there accessible power for your lights and charging stations, or will you need to bring a generator? We just talked about noise, but listen for it at the specific times you'll be rolling. And parking, where will your crew park? Where will the gear truck go? Is it a long walk from the parking to the set? Figuring this out on the day of the shoot is a recipe for expensive delays and a very stressed-out crew. Proper scouting is proactive problem solving. It's the cheapest insurance you can get for a smooth production. Alright, let's dive into one of the most critical, non-negotiable aspects of filmmaking: protecting your footage. This isn't just a tip, it's a professional commandment. Nothing will sink a project faster or break your heart more completely than losing the incredible moments you've just captured. So, let's talk about building a digital fortress around your hard work. Our 4th tip is to back up on site, and your first line of defense happens right inside the camera. If your camera has 2 card slots, use them. Always. Set your camera to dual card record. This creates an instantaneous, real-time backup of every single clip you shoot. One card becomes your primary, and the other becomes an identical clone. Think of it as free insurance. If one card corrupts, and trust me, it can and does happen, you have a perfect copy ready to go. There's no excuse not to use this feature if you have it. It's the bedrock of data safety on set. But that's just the beginning. Your on-camera media is still vulnerable until it's properly offloaded. So before you even think about packing up your lights or saying your goodbyes, you need to copy your footage to an external drive. This is non-negotiable. Never, ever leave a location with your footage living only on the camera cards. A simple trip, a dropped bag, or a faulty card reader at home could wipe out your entire day's work. The industry standard for this is the 3-2-1 backup rule, and it's a lifesaver. It means you should have at least 3 total copies of your data on 2 different types of media, with 1 copy stored off-site. Let's translate that for a typical shoot. Your first copy is the original footage on your camera cards. Your second copy is the one you make on-site to a rugged, reliable SSD or hard drive. And your third copy? That could be a second external drive that you give to a trusted collaborator to take home, or a cloud upload that starts the moment you get back to your studio. This redundancy is what lets professionals sleep at night. Now that our footage is safe, let's talk about making sure we capture the right footage in the first place. This brings us to tip number 5. Build a shot list, not a wish list. The distinction is crucial. A wish list is a dreamy, endless collection of cool ideas. A shot list is a strategic, actionable plan that respects the realities of your time, budget, and resources. It's the architectural blueprint for your film. Without it, you're just wandering around with a camera, hoping for the best. The key is to prioritize. Start by identifying your absolute must-haves. These are the shots that are essential to telling your story. If you're filming a family opening presents, the must-haves are the wide shot of the room, the close-ups of the key family members' reactions, and the shot of the main gift being unwrapped. These are the narrative pillars. If you only get these shots, you can still build a coherent edit. List them at the very top of your document, marked with an asterisk or highlighted in yellow. This is your mission-critical checklist. Then, you can list your nice-to-haves. These are the shots that add flavor, texture, and production value. They're the beautiful slow-motion shot of snow falling outside the window, the artistic close-up of an ornament on the tree, or the drone shot flying over the house. These are wonderful, but they are secondary to the core narrative. By separating your list this way, you create a clear battle plan. On the day of the shoot, when time is inevitably running short and the pressure is on, you won't have to make stressful decisions on the fly. You'll simply execute your plan, secure all the must-haves first, and then with any time you have left, you can creatively hunt for those beautiful nice-to-haves. This approach ensures you leave with a complete story every single time. Okay, let's move from planning to glass. Tip number 6 is to mix your lenses to create visual dynamism. Relying on a single zoom lens for an entire shoot is convenient, but it can often lead to visually monotonous footage. The best storytellers use different focal lengths to evoke different feelings and convey different information. Your lens choices are as important as your words. At a minimum, you should have 2 distinct types of lenses in your kit. First, you need one wide lens for context. This is your establishing lens, your storyteller. A 24mm or a 35mm, for example, allows you to capture the entire environment. It shows the relationship between characters and their surroundings. It answers the question, where are we? When you're filming that holiday dinner, the wide lens captures the whole family at the table, the festive decorations, the scale of the gathering. It grounds the viewer in the scene and provides the geographical foundation upon which you'll build your emotional moments. And then, you need one fast prime for magic. This is your portrait lens, your emotion finder. A fast prime, like a 50mm or 85mm, with a wide aperture like f1.8 or f1.4, does something a standard kit lens can't. It allows you to obliterate the background into a soft, creamy blur. What we call bokeh. This technique isolates your subject, forcing the audience's attention exactly where you want it, on a subtle smile, a tear in an eye, the intricate details of a handmade gift. This is how you create intimacy and cinematic beauty. The wide lens tells us where we are, but the fast prime tells us how to feel. Using both in concert is what separates a simple recording from a truly compelling film. Number 7. Stabilize smart. Your camera movement should always serve the story. For static, emotional moments like interviews or watching someone open a gift, lock your camera down on a tripod. This creates a stable, professional foundation. When you need elegant motion, like gliding through a decorated room, a gimbal is your best friend. It delivers that smooth, cinematic feel. And for raw, energetic moments, go handheld. The natural shake adds a gritty, documentary-style authenticity. 8. Capture clean audio. Bad audio is unforgivable. Use a lavalier mic for clear dialogue and a shotgun mic to capture rich ambient sounds, like a crackling fire. Always monitor your audio with headphones. What the camera hears can be very different from what you hear in the room. Finally, number 9, nail your white balance for consistency. Set it manually. Don't trust auto mode, especially with mixed holiday lights, which can confuse your camera and create unnatural color shifts from shot to shot. Number 10, nail your exposure. Your primary goal is always to expose for skin tones. If your subjects look right, you're most of the way there. But be careful not to lose the bright spots, like twinkling holiday lights or a snowy window scene. This is where your exposure tools come in. Zebras are your best friend for quickly spotting overexposed areas. For an even more detailed view, false color is your other best friend. It gives you a complete map of your image's brightness, helping you place skin tones perfectly while keeping your highlights in check. 11. Roll B-roll with intent. Don't just shoot randomly. Think like an editor and capture the specific shots you'll need to tell the story. This means getting details that establish the scene, shots of hands performing actions, genuine reactions from your subjects, and movements that can serve as natural transitions. And finally, number 12. Get room tone. Before you pack up, record the sound of the empty space for at least 30 seconds. This small step is a lifesaver in post-production, allowing you to smooth out audio edits and fill gaps seamlessly. Trust me, 30 seconds on set will save you hours in the edit. Tip 13. Treat your batteries like essential snacks for your camera, especially in the cold. Pack double what you think you'll need. Cold weather is a notorious power vampire, draining batteries at an alarming rate. A simple pro tip: keep your spare batteries close to your body. This warmth helps them retain their charge much longer, ensuring you don't miss that crucial shot. 14. Weatherproof your gear. This isn't just for rain, it's for humidity, snow, and condensation. Have lens cloths, zip bags for small items, silica gel packs in your bag to absorb moisture, and a dedicated rain cover. 15. Direct with verbs. When you're behind the camera, your words need to be efficient and actionable. Instead of saying, "Can you do that again but with more feeling?" Try a verb. Slower. Closer. Hold. Simple commands create immediate results. On a busy set, clarity always beats poetry. Alright, let's talk about something that's just as important as your camera settings, but often gets overlooked, especially when you're caught up in the creative whirlwind of a holiday shoot. Tip number 16, keep morale high. This is the secret sauce. Filmmaking, even for fun, is a team sport. Whether your team is your family, your friends, or a small crew you've assembled, their energy, enthusiasm, and well-being will directly translate into the final film. A happy set creates authentic, joyful moments. A stressed-out set, well, you can see that on screen too, and not in a good way. The memories you make during the process are just as valuable as the video itself. So, how do you become the hero of the holiday shoot and keep spirits bright? It comes down to a few simple, thoughtful gestures. First, think about physical comfort. If you're shooting in a cold environment, which is common for many holiday themes, providing warmth is non-negotiable. It's a basic act of care that goes a long way. Think about bringing a thermos of hot chocolate or warm apple cider. Have a stash of chemical hand warmers ready to pass out. These small things can feel like a lifesaver when fingers and toes start to get numb. If you have a car nearby, let people know they can cycle in and out to warm up. A designated warming station, even if it's just the passenger seat with the heat blasting, shows you're thinking about their comfort, not just your next shot. This simple consideration prevents the shoot from feeling like an endurance test and keeps everyone engaged and willing to participate. Next up, snacks. Never, ever underestimate the power of good craft services, even on a micro budget. Nobody performs well when they're hungry. Having a dedicated snack station creates a positive communal focal point. It gives people a place to gather and recharge for a few minutes. You don't need a Hollywood catering budget, a plate of holiday cookies, a bag of pretzels, some fruit, maybe some mini sandwiches. It's about the gesture. It says, I appreciate you being here and I'm taking care of you. Pro tip: choose snacks that are easy to eat and not too messy. You don't want chocolate fingerprints on your talent's festive white sweater right before a key scene. And perhaps the most crucial element for maintaining morale: a clear wrap time. This is about respecting everyone's time and energy. Before you even start shooting, communicate the plan. Say, we're going to film from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. and then we're done for the day. This manages expectations and gives everyone a finish line to look forward to. It prevents the dreaded just one more shot syndrome that can drag on for hours and drain every last drop of goodwill. When you hit that wrap time, honor it. Announce it clearly. Okay everyone, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for your hard work. Sticking to your schedule builds trust and ensures people will be excited to work with you again, instead of groaning when you pull out the camera next year. Now for tip 17, which is about thinking like a marketer from the very beginning. Shoot a poster frame. Before you pack up a scene, take a moment to consciously create one perfect cinematic high-resolution still image. This isn't just a random frame grab from your video footage. This is a deliberately composed photograph that tells the story of your film in a single glance. Think of it as your movie poster. It could be a beautifully lit portrait of your main subject, a wide shot of the family laughing together, or an artful close-up on a meaningful object like an ornament being placed on the tree. This single image will be incredibly useful for sharing your project, creating a cover for the video file, or even printing as a keepsake. It elevates the entire project from a simple home movie to a finished production. And in that same vein, you need to be shooting one thumbnail-worthy still for every setup. In today's world, the thumbnail is the front door to your video. It's what makes someone decide to click play. A blurry, poorly composed, auto-generated thumbnail won't do your hard work justice. So, for each scene or location, pause and ask yourself, what is the single image that captures the essence of this moment? Think about composition, use the rule of thirds, look for leading lines, and ensure your subject is clear and compelling. Focus on emotion. A shot of genuine laughter or wide-eyed wonder is infinitely more clickable than a generic, static scene. The image needs to be bold and clear enough to be understood even at a tiny size on a phone screen. By banking these high-quality stills as you go, you're saving your future self a massive headache and giving your film the best possible chance to be seen. Moving into the technical workflow, we have tip number 18, slate your takes. Yes, even if you're just shooting a family video, you don't need a traditional clapperboard, though they are fun. The goal is to create a clear sync point for your audio and video in post-production. A simple, sharp clap of your hands in front of the camera is a perfect soft slate. It creates both a visual spike, the moment your hands meet, and an audio spike in the waveform. In the digital age, you can also use a slate app on your phone or tablet. Just hold it up to the camera and lens, and the app will provide a visual cue and a sharp tone. You can even just state the scene and take number out loud before you clap. Tree decorating, take 3. Why bother? Because your sync and notes get faster. So much faster. When you sit down to edit, instead of painstakingly trying to match lip movements to your separate audio track, you'll have a clear, unmissable marker at the start of every single clip. You just find the visual clap, find the audio spike, and snap them together. Done. It turns a tedious, frustrating task into a simple, 3-second action. This discipline on set will save you hours of pain in the edit bay, allowing you to focus on the creative parts of storytelling, not the technical drudgery of syncing. Tip 19 is a crucial lesson in pacing. Leave room to breathe. As filmmakers, we often get excited and cut the moment we think the action is over, but the magic often happens in the moments just before and just after the main event. So, a great rule of thumb is to start recording 2 beats before you think the action starts, and hold the shot for 2 beats longer than you think you need to. Let's say you're filming someone opening a present. Don't just capture the paper ripping. Capture the moment of anticipation right before, and more importantly, hold on to their face after the gift is revealed. That lingering smile, the quiet look of gratitude, the teary eye. That's where the real emotion lives. This practice of holding the shot 2 beats longer than you think gives your future editor, which is probably you, invaluable flexibility. These extra seconds are called handles, and they are essential for creating smooth transitions. They give you the space to execute a slow dissolve, a J cut, or an L cut, where the audio from the next scene starts before the video, or vice versa. Without these handles, your edits will feel abrupt and jarring. You're forced into hard cuts everywhere. By giving your shots room to breathe during filming, you're giving your story room to breathe in the edit. It's a simple habit that dramatically increases the polish and professionalism of your final film. And that brings us perfectly to tip number 20. Edit a rough cut immediately. I know after a long day of shooting, the last thing you might want to do is sit in front of a computer. But this step is a game changer. If you can, do it the same day. Transfer your footage, drop it into a timeline, and just assemble a very basic sequence of the day's events. This isn't about color grading or sound mixing, it's about reviewing what you've captured while it's all still fresh in your mind. Why is this so important? Because the footage tells you what you missed. As you assemble the rough cut, the gaps in your story will become glaringly obvious. You'll see that you don't have a shot to transition from the kitchen to the living room. You'll realize you forgot to get a close-up of the final dish coming out of the oven. You'll notice a shaky shot that needs to be redone. If you're on a multi-day shoot, this immediate feedback is your secret weapon. You can add those missing shots to your list for the next day. It allows you to self-correct in real time, ensuring you walk away with all the pieces you need to build a complete, compelling story, rather than discovering a fatal flaw weeks later when it's too late to fix. Now for a quick but critical bonus tip, get permissions before you go. If your film involves anyone outside your immediate family, or if you ever plan to share it publicly, like on YouTube or in a film festival, getting signed releases is essential. It doesn't have to be a scary, legalistic process. You can find simple, one-page model release templates online. Frame it as a standard part of the creative process. Explain that it simply gives you permission to use their image in the final film. Getting this sorted out beforehand avoids awkward conversations later and protects you and your project. It's a professional habit that's good to build, no matter the scale of your film. And another bonus, take gratitude shots after. Once the official filming is done, keep your camera or even just your phone handy. Capture the candid moments of everyone relaxing, the laughter, the shared stories, the group selfie. These behind-the-scenes photos of your family or crew mean everything later. They become part of the project's story, a document of the joy and collaboration that went into making it. These images are a wonderful way to thank everyone involved and will be cherished for years to come. So, after all the planning, all the preparation, all the theory, it all comes down to one simple action. Hit record, trust your instincts, trust your preparation, and tell the story. Remember to use the environment to your advantage. Let the holidays do the lighting. Let the genuine emotions guide your lens. The most powerful stories are the ones that are already there, waiting for you to capture them. Now go make something wonderful.